My brother and I were adopted from the same group home on the same day. Him by a flashy new money couple from LA, and me by a New York tech billionaire. The billionaire's daughter was a beautiful, volatile girl, and my brother, Ethan, became her plaything. Within a few years, she had tormented him into a shadow of his former self, leaving him disfigured and crippled. Meanwhile, under the careful grooming of the nouveau riche couple, I navigated the treacherous waters of Hollywood to become the youngest actor to ever win an Oscar, a Golden Globe, and a SAG Award. The stark contrast drove Ethan mad with jealousy. He trapped me in my Hollywood Hills mansion and burned it to the ground, taking us both with him. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in the director's office of the Queen's group home on the very day of our adoption. This time, Ethan moved first. He dropped to his knees before the flashy LA couple, the DeVises, his face a mess of tears and snot. "Please, I want to be your son," he sobbed. "I'll be so good. I'll listen to everything you say." The DeVises hesitated, whispering to each other. They looked so much alike. Which one should we pick? Hearing them, Ethan scrambled to sell himself harder. "Pick me, please. I'll work so hard to repay you for everything." Seeing his desperation, I knew. He had come back, too. Oh, Ethan, my poor, foolish brother. As cruel as Anna Sterling could be, she was still just a teenager, a troubled soul lashing out. But the DeVises? They were sharks who had clawed their way up from nothing. They were masters of manipulation, something a simpleton like him could never handle. My previous life might have looked glamorous from the outside, but behind the awards and the red carpet was an abyss so dark I couldn't bear to even think about it. As the DeVises' eyes drifted over to me, my heart skipped a beat. I quickly pulled out a faded photograph of our parents and started to cry. "Mom, Dad," I whimpered, "I miss you so much. No one can ever replace you." The couple's expression soured. The woman pointed at Ethan and muttered to her husband, "That one seems like he won't bond with us. Let's just take him." Ethan's face lit up with triumph. He fell to his knees again. "Mom, Dad, I promise I'll be the perfect son." Just then, the group home director walked in, followed by the billionaire, Mr. Sterling. When he saw me clutching the photo of my deceased parents, a look of approval crossed his face. He valued loyalty and sentiment. He decided to adopt me on the spot. Ethan shot me a malicious grin. "Congrats, Noah," he whispered. "You got a billionaire dad and a beautiful sister." He then turned to the girl standing beside Mr. Sterling. Anna, you'll have to take good care of my brother now that you're family." He emphasized the words "take good care," his tone dripping with venom. Anna ignored him, her gaze fixed on me, a flicker of amusement in her dark eyes. Ethan gave me one last look, the kind you give a dead man walking, before taking the DeVises' hands and leaving without a backward glance. Watching them go, I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. "Congratulations, Ethan. You just took my place in hell." In my past life, while Ethan was being broken by Anna, I was being molded by the DeVises into a Hollywood cash cow. I debuted, became a sensation, and starred in a billion-dollar blockbuster that cemented my status as an A-list actor. To the world, our lives were heaven and hell. Ethan believed it, too, blaming me for his suffering. He didn't know that when he set that fire, I was already dead inside. He didn't know that the paradise he so desperately craved was the real inferno. I glanced at Anna, sitting beside me in the back of the town car. Compared to the nightmares I had endured, she was an angel. After all, what kind of possessive, lonely girl doesn't love the little brother who depends on her completely? Ethan failed because he was a fool. In the car, Anna noticed me staring. "Had enough?" she asked, her voice as cold as ice. She didn't sound like a 15-year-old. Her aura was dark, almost menacing. My heart pounded. "All right, time to begin my campaign. I've never seen anyone as beautiful as you, Anna," I said, my voice sweet and my eyes wide with a 10-year-old's adoration. "Are you really going to be my sister?" She turned to look at me, a flicker of derision in her cold eyes. "You really want to be my brother?" "Duh, I thought. I'm 10. Your dad just signed the papers. What choice do I have?" "Yes. I'm so happy I'll have a sister to look after me." I feigned excitement, then let my face fall into a look of anxiety. I lowered my head, my eyes welling up as I fidgeted with the hem of my worn-out shirt. But you probably don't like me either. No one at the group home ever did. They all hated me. Anna froze for a second. I don't hate you, she said, her voice stiff. I stopped sniffling and threw my arms around her waist. That's great. You don't hate me. You like me. Her body went rigid. She shoved me away, her expression turning hostile again. Get off me. Don't ever touch me again without my permission. Classic, moody and unpredictable. In the front seat, Mr. Sterling chuckled, telling Anna to be nice to me. I knew the truth. This family was really just me and Anna. Her father was a ghost, always flying around the world for business. The only person who would be a constant in my life was her. If I could win over this volatile girl, I would be safe. When we arrived at the Park Avenue penthouse, her father had the housekeeper put me in the room right next to Anna's. And so, my mission began. On the first day at my new private school, I clung to her arm and refused to let go, crying, Anna, I don't want to be without you. I am scared. I put on a full show, tears and snot running down my face. She looked at me like I was a pathetic stray puppy, but in the end, she didn't push me away. From then on, my sister Anna was my favorite phrase, uttered with immense pride. When I got sick, I refused to take medicine unless Anna coaxed me. When I struggled with homework, I pestered her to teach me, demanding a hug as a reward when I finally understood. I became her shadow, a permanent fixture attached to her side. 3 years passed like that. Anna grew accustomed to my dependence, no longer flinching at my touch. Even the head housekeeper smiled, saying, I've never seen Miss Anna care for someone so much. You're a lucky boy, Master Noah. Hearing that, I knew I had succeeded. That night, a thunderstorm rolled over Manhattan. I used it as my excuse, creeping into her room and climbing into her bed. When Anna came out of her bathroom and saw me, her face darkened. Anna, I'm scared. I whimpered before she could yell, tears already streaming down my face. I had a nightmare. Can I please sleep with you? A complex mix of emotions flickered across her face. Anger, a hint of violence, and a deep, profound weariness. I worried I had pushed too far. I started to climb out of her bed, my voice trembling. I'm sorry, sister. It's just, when I was little, Mom used to hold me during storms. I just miss my mom. A flash of pity crossed her eyes. She muttered something under her breath, and just as I was about to leave with my pillow, she grabbed my arm and pulled me back. Fine, you sleep on this side, and stay quiet. You hear me? I was stunned. It worked. That night, I lay beside her, feeling the gentle, rhythmic pat of her hand on my back, and a strange, warm feeling bloomed in my chest. Though I wasn't with her in my past life, I knew enough about her. She wasn't always the monster she became to Ethan. Her mother died young, and her father was never around, leaving her starved for affection. But Ethan, the idiot, once he became a Sterling, he flaunted his new wealth, making friends with sycophants and treating Anna like an obstacle to his inheritance. He even tried to have her kidnapped and assaulted. That was what finally made her snap, what led to her breaking his legs and destroying his face. I understood my role perfectly. I had to heal this broken girl with love. And now I felt a sense of codependence, a feeling that we were in this together. Anna, I said, my voice filled with genuine emotion, I'm going to get strong so I can protect you. Her hand paused on my back. She let out a soft laugh. Okay, then you'd better grow up fast. Time flew. Soon, Anna was in college, and I had just turned 18 and graduated from high school. The next time I saw Ethan was at my 18th birthday party. He trailed behind the Devises, dressed in a tailored designer suit, his face handsome and polished like a newly minted movie star. But his eyes were dull, his posture slumped. He had clearly been through the ringer. When he saw me in my simple, casual clothes, he straightened his back and strode over, his chin held high. Well, looks like life hasn't been too kind to you either, he sneered. That psycho Anna probably won't even let you wear a decent suit. Before I could respond, Anna's cold voice cut in from behind me. Who did you just call psycho? The moment Ethan saw her, his already pale face turned as white as a sheet. The trauma from the past life was deeply ingrained. Seeing her glare at him with disgust, his voice began to tremble. "I am sorry. I was just talking nonsense." Anna ignored him, turning to me and draping a soft cashmere shawl over my shoulders. Her eyes were misty. "Noah, this is your birthday present. I knitted it myself. Happy 18th. She hugged me tightly, her voice catching. "You'll be going off to college overseas soon. If you miss me, just call. I can fly out to see you anytime. If you're not comfortable in the dorms, I'll buy you a house near campus and hire a chef from home to cook for you." I gently refused. "I am okay, Anna. For the first time in my life, I feel normal. I just want to experience college like a regular student. Don't worry, I can take care of myself. Remember? We have to be low-key." She laughed, wiping a tear from her eye. "Okay," she said softly, then turned to greet other guests. Ethan finally snapped out of his shock. He grabbed my arm, his voice urgent. "Why? Why is she so good to you?" I ignored his desperate expression, a small smile playing on my lips. "She's my sister. Isn't it normal for her to be good to me? What about you? Aren't your new parents good to you?" My question seemed to trigger a painful memory. Ethan's face crumpled. He clutched his head, lost in a private hell. "How can this be? Why?" Suddenly, the Devises appeared behind him. Ethan flinched as if struck. "Ethan, Mr. Russo, the director, is here. Come with us now." They started to drag him away. He was trembling, and his eyes shot me a desperate, pleading look. I sighed and stepped in their way. "Mr. and Mrs. Davis, I haven't seen my brother in years. Could we have a moment to catch up?" Given my status as Mr. Sterling's son, and the well-known fact that Anna doted on me, they didn't dare refuse. Of course, Mr. Davis said with a greasy smile. But his wife gave Ethan a vicious pinch on the arm, her voice a low hiss. "Hurry up. Don't screw this up, or you'll regret it." Ethan winced in pain, but could only nod obediently. After they left, he let out a long sigh, his legs looking unsteady. I watched him with a smirk. "What's wrong? Your parents not treating you well?" My expression seemed to enrage him. He lunged at me, tried to rip open my shirt. "I don't believe it. You're lying. You're afraid to wear nice clothes because you're covered in bruises and scars, aren't you?" Seeing his frantic state, I understood. He was living my past life. After the Devises took me home in the first life, their education began. I was allowed only 4 hours of sleep a night. The rest of my time was filled with a grueling schedule of acting classes, dialect coaching, piano lessons, fencing, and horseback riding. I was chronically sleep-deprived. Once I fell from a horse and nearly became paralyzed. The Devises kept a detailed ledger of every penny they spent on me, including my medical bills. The day I turned 18, they told me it was time to start paying them back with interest. That was the beginning of my descent into hell. They forced me to learn how to please people, how to entertain wealthy producers and powerful executives, both men and women. Every role, every award, was bought with my body and my soul. I remember one time, after being with a male executive for days, I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't walk, couldn't even use the bathroom without excruciating pain. I felt filthy, exhausted, but there was no escape. The night I won my Oscar, there were 3 industry moguls waiting in my hotel suite to celebrate with me. It was in that moment of absolute despair that Ethan appeared, pushing his wheelchair, his eyes red with rage, and set the fire that ended it all. Judging by the timeline, this Ethan had probably just started his career. He had likely suffered their physical abuse, but he hadn't yet been thrown into the true depths of their depravity. Ethan finally tore my shirt open. When he saw my smooth, unblemished skin, he broke down completely, sobbing. "Why? Why didn't she hurt you? You were supposed to be covered in scars. The rumors all said the Sterlings treated you horribly. How can your life be better than mine?" He was so agitated that he seemed to pull a muscle in his arm, grimacing in pain. I looked at him with cold contempt. The rumors were a smokescreen, a story Anna herself had carefully crafted to protect me. In private, she loved me so much she couldn't sleep without holding me. Watching him fall apart, I let a corner of my mouth lift. "What's the matter, Ethan? You don't seem happy for me. Did you have a bad run this time, too?" He stopped crying instantly, his face a mask of shock and panic. You were reborn, too? I gave a non-committal shrug, my smile widening. You chose first both times. Are you really so useless that you managed to pick the losing side no matter what? The word useless hit him like a physical blow. His eyes turned bloodshot. You're the useless one. Just you watch. I'm gonna climb higher than you ever did. I'll be more successful than you could ever dream of. I nodded and smiled. Good luck with that. A cesspool like Hollywood, a place with no morals, really is the perfect fit for you. Come talk to me about success after you've actually experienced what hell is like. The Devises came back to fetch him. Ethan wiped his tears, his arrogant mask back in place. You just wait, Noah. I'm gonna be a huge star. I'll have my fans dox you and destroy you online. I'll expose all your dirty secrets. My secrets? What secrets could I possibly have? Both times I let him choose first. After our parents died, I gave him everything, but it was never enough. He just wanted to crush me, to stand on top of me. He never once saw me as his brother. I know Anna is just putting on a show for your birthday, he hissed in my ear before leaving. I'm waiting for the day she disfigures you and breaks your legs. He walked away, laughing. He wasn't wrong. Anna was acting. I looked across the lawn and saw her, swirling a glass of champagne. Though she was talking to guests, her eyes had never left me, a strange, unreadable light glinting in them. A moment later, she was walking toward me. She grabbed my hand and pulled me into a dark, empty study, pressing her body against mine. Noah, she whispered, her warm breath tickling my ear. I heard everything you two said. You haven't been a good boy. You need to be punished. Her perfume filled my senses, and the warmth of her chest against mine sent a jolt through me. A trickle of warmth ran from my nose. Damn it, she's grown up so much. Ever since I first climbed in her bed at 13, she had become impossibly possessive, not only insisting on holding me every night, but also reading me bedtime stories. I had tried to resist, telling her I was too old for that, but she would just ignore me, draping her long leg over my stomach. Noah, why is your body so tense? She would ask innocently. Thinking of it now, the nosebleed intensified. I haven't even started your punishment, and you're already bleeding, Anna chuckled. It's nothing, I mumbled, mortified. The air is just dry in here. She let me go and pulled out a handkerchief to gently wipe my nose, but her eyes were filled with a sudden sadness. All these years, you weren't just asking me to act for you. You were acting for me, too, weren't you? My blood ran cold. She said she heard my conversation with Ethan. Did she plant a bug in the shawl? As if reading my mind, her eyes reddened. After you were almost kidnapped when you were 15, I've been so worried about your safety. When I was 15, a group of criminals, seeing how much Anna doted on me, decided to kidnap me to extort a huge ransom from Mr. Sterling. Luckily, our bodyguards intervened in time. I used that incident to convince Anna to play along with a new plan, to act cold and distant toward me in public, even a little cruel. Mr. Sterling, more concerned with protecting his fortune than his adopted son, readily agreed. From then on, the world believed I was the unwanted, neglected Sterling heir. It completely fooled Ethan. That's why he was so sure Anna's affection today was just a performance for the guests. He had no idea that her performance was one of restraint. She loved me so much she could barely stand to be apart from me. The listening device in the shawl was just her way of protecting me. After all, what kind of possessive sister would ever actually harm her beloved little brother? A wave of warmth and guilt washed over me. Anna, I know you care about me. You heard everything. Do you hate me? A strange light flickered in her eyes. She pushed me against the wall again, her lips so close to my cheek I could feel the heat. My ears burned. Why would I ever hate you, Noah? But you did keep a lot of secrets from me. And for that, you must be punished. That night, Anna's punishment nearly left me unable to get out of bed. She tied my wrists and ankles to the bedposts and tickled the soles of my feet with a feather. Tell me, she demanded, what did you mean by 2 lives? Begging for mercy, I told her everything about my past life. When she heard how her past self had tortured Ethan, she snorted. I never liked that kid. You two may look alike, but he's repulsive. Not like you. You're so easy to love. She tossed the feather aside and pulled me into a tight embrace. Noah, thank you for choosing me this time. I'll be your sister, and I will always protect you. I was deeply moved. Thank you, Anna, I whispered. Without her, I might not have grown up in one piece. She shook her head, a tear falling onto my chest. It was you who gave my life meaning. To love someone, to watch him grow, to protect him for a lifetime. A lifetime. Maybe that wouldn't be so bad. In the end, I couldn't win against her. I agreed to let her buy a house for me off campus. Whenever she flew in for a visit, I would move in with her. For 4 years, any girl who showed interest in me was swiftly intercepted by Anna, who would introduce herself as my girlfriend. She would always ask me, with a hint of challenge in her eyes, if there was any girl I liked. I found it almost funny. After the hell I'd been through, the idea of love was a distant, alien concept. I felt too dirty, too broken. The memories were etched into my soul. Seeing me fall silent and my eyes fill with tears, she would grow frantic with worry, promising she would find a way to get revenge for me, to help me heal. I would just hug her grateful. But when it came to revenge, I wanted to deliver the final blow myself. 4 years of college passed quickly. I immersed myself in screenwriting and directing courses. With my past life's experience in Hollywood, it all came naturally. Before I even graduated, I had written a killer screenplay. Anna took it back to the States, and through the Sterling family's production company, it was made into a movie. It grossed over $1 billion in its first month. The day I returned to the U.S., I ran into Ethan at the airport. In 4 years, he had become one of Hollywood's hottest young stars. A massive crowd of fans had shut down the terminal. When Ethan saw me in my plain clothes, pulling my own suitcase, he swaggered over. Look at me now, Noah. See how popular I am? How successful? I could hear the fans whispering. That's his brother, the one the billionaire adopted. They look alike, but Ethan is way hotter and more talented. Yeah, Ethan's the real star. Ethan, I love you. Hearing their praise, Ethan swelled with pride. Just you wait, Noah. I'm about to become an Oscar-winning actor. And when I do, I'm going to crush you, you pathetic waste. I ignored him and walked out of the airport. When I got in the car, I saw that Anna's face was a thundercloud. She had heard what Ethan said. How dare he threaten you? I'll make him regret the words he spoke today. I took her cold hand in mine. Let's not talk about him today, I said with a smile. I'm craving that spicy hot pot place downtown. Will you take me? The anger in her eyes melted into affection, her expression softening. Of course. Anything you want, I'll take you. After returning, I didn't rush to join Anna's production company. My past life taught me the value of staying low-key and building power from the shadows. Anna didn't push me. Instead, she bought all my screenplays under the name of a mysterious, anonymous writer. My latest script caught the eye of Mr. Russo, the very same big-shot director who had made Ethan a star. He wanted to buy it outright. I had Anna refuse, but offered a co-production deal. I was confident this film would be a massive hit, and Russo agreed. I didn't attend the contract signing. Anna went for me. I had no desire to see him. He was one of the men who had tormented me in my past life. This screenplay was just bait on a very long line. I was going to bring him and Ethan down together in a spectacular blaze of infamy. 2 months later, just as I and Anna had planned, Ethan landed the lead role in Russo's big new movie. To show off, he announced to the press that he was throwing a party to celebrate and was inviting his dear brother. The media storm was so intense, I had no choice but to attend. Anna scoffed. I'm going with you. Mr. Russo is an old friend of my father's, so it's perfectly appropriate. If I'm there, they won't dare try anything. I agreed. She happily linked her arm with mine as we walked into the party. But we had both underestimated just how far Ethan would go to drag you down with him. The ballroom of the mansion was glittering. The Devises were preening like peacocks, dripping with jewels as they accepted congratulations from the crowd. Ethan stood beside them like an obedient puppy, while Mr. Russo clapped him on the shoulder, praising what a fine young man he was. A flicker of disgust crossed Ethan's face, but it was replaced by triumph the moment he saw me. When a clumsy waiter accidentally spilled a drink on Anna's dress, forcing her to go upstairs to change, Ethan saw his chance. He strode over, grabbed my arm, and pulled me toward Russo and his circle of powerful friends. Everyone, this is my twin brother, Noah. He's been studying abroad for the past few years and just got back. He's looking for a job, so if you hear of anything, let him know. All eyes turned to me. Among them were several faces from my past life, the men and women who had used and abused me. Their gazes were just as predatory as I remembered. A wave of nausea and revulsion washed over me, painful memories flooding my mind. Ethan must have felt me trembling. He leaned in and whispered, "What's wrong, Noah? Feeling a little cold? Looks like they had their fun with you in the last life, too." I forced myself to stay calm, to smile. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Let go." I tried to pull my arm away, but he held tight, suddenly raising his voice. "Everyone, my brother says he's so happy for me. He says my success today is all thanks to your support. He wants to toast all of you." My heart sank. The predator's eyes on me grew bolder, like snakes sizing up their prey. "One toast for all of us. That's not very sincere," someone jeered. "He should toast us one by one." The crowd roared in agreement. A heavy hand landed on my shoulder. "He's a good-looking kid. If you can keep everyone here happy tonight, I might have a role for you, too." It was Mr. Russo. His greasy, leering face loomed closer, and my whole body began to shake. On pure instinct, I shoved his hand off and stumbled backward, my face pale. A flash of annoyance crossed Russo's face. He put his hand on Ethan's shoulder instead. "Your brother isn't nearly as accommodating as you are. What have the Sterlings been teaching him all these years to be so timid?" The crowd laughed, and the feeling of disgust in my stomach intensified. "Noah, are you jealous of my success?" Ethan asked, his expression wounded, his eyes welling up. "Is that why you won't thank these people who helped me?" I tried to speak, but instead, I doubled over and threw up. These people, their words, it was all too much. They were the ones who had left scars on my soul. I thought after all these years, I could face them calmly. I was wrong. The trauma was too deep, a nightmare I could never escape. "Noah, are you not feeling well? Why didn't you say so?" Ethan feigned concern, helping me up and ordering someone to bring me a glass of water. The moment the water went down, the world started to spin. The room took on a pinkish hue, and a strange heat spread through my body. I realized with horror that the water had been drugged. I never imagined Ethan would be so brazen, not at a high-profile party like this. My body went limp, like a puppet with its strings cut. I was half-carried, half-dragged up to a guest room on the 3rd floor. Ethan leaned close to my ear. "In this life, I took all the pain that was meant for you, Noah. It's time you paid back some of the interest." He stepped back, smiled, and opened the door, letting several people in. Leading them was Mr. Russo. "Well done, Ethan," Russo said, his eyes gleaming as he reached out to stroke my face. "Your brother has a certain charm when he's like this." The men behind him chuckled, rubbing their hands together. "Thank you, Mr. Russo. I'll be standing guard outside." "Please enjoy yourselves," Ethan said with a twisted smile, turning to leave. The next second, the door was kicked open, sending him flying back into the room. Through my blurry vision, I saw a figure storming toward me. It was my fierce, beautiful sister, Anna. She had a team of security guards with her. I couldn't make out what she was saying. My head was pounding, and my throat was parched. "Anna, you're so beautiful," I murmured, wrapping my arms around her neck and pressing my lips to hers. The chaos of the guards throwing the men out of the room seemed to fade into the background. For a moment, it was just us. The soft touch of her lips brought a sliver of clarity back to my drug-addled mind. "Anna, I'm sorry," I gasped, using all my strength to push her away. Her cheeks were flushed, but her eyes were burning with rage. She stood up, walked over to Ethan, and slapped him hard across the face twice. The antidote. Now. Ethan was stunned, his cheeks swelling instantly, but he didn't dare fight back. He was still terrified of her. He fumbled in his pocket and shakily handed her a small vial. Anna cradled my head in her lap, pinched my jaw open, and poured the cool liquid into my mouth. The burning heat in my body subsided immediately. I just felt so tired. "Sure, it's okay. You rest now. I'm here. Don't be afraid," she whispered, kissing my forehead. She gently laid me back on the bed and posted 2 large guards at my door. Then she herded everyone else out. Through the closed door, I could hear her furious voice, Ethan's desperate pleas, the sound of him kneeling and banging his head on the floor, and finally, his heart-wrenching screams as he was dragged away. The door opened again. Anna sat on the edge of my bed and stroked my face. "Don't be afraid, Noah. I'm here." I finally let go and fell asleep. When I woke up, it was the next morning. Anna was sitting by my bed. The first thing she did was hand me her phone. "I took care of it last night, Noah. I got your revenge." Ethan's desperate screams filled the air from the phone speaker. "Mr. Russo, please stop. It hurts. Please don't. Mom, Dad, help me." Then, the muffled voices of the DeVises from outside a door. "You little brat. You offended all these powerful people. You'd better make up for it." The familiar scene flashed in my mind, a phantom pain so intense it felt real. I threw the phone away and curled into a ball, shaking uncontrollably. "No, go away. Get out." Anna seemed shocked by my reaction. She rushed to hold me. "Noah, it's okay. I'm here." "I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have shown you that." I shoved her away, my fists pounding against her. "Why would you show me that? I hate you. I hate you." The memories of what those people did to me in my past life, the humiliation, the pain, it all came rushing back. I hated Ethan. I hated the DeVises. I hated all of them. I wanted them to suffer. Anna sat like a statue, letting me hit her until I was exhausted, my throat raw from crying. Finally, she sighed and pulled me back in her arms. "Are you better now?" "I am sorry, Noah. I only thought about getting revenge for you. I didn't realize it would hurt you all over again." I nodded, sobbing. I had never told her the full extent of what I had suffered in the past life. She thought I only hated Ethan for killing me, not for the years of abuse that came before. Her heart broke for me. She cupped my face, wiping away my tears, and told me what she had done. After throwing the men out of my room, she had immediately informed Russo that their production deal was off. She would shelve the script before she let him direct it. Furthermore, all of Sterling Industries' subsidiaries would blacklist him and his associates permanently. Terrified of the power of the Sterling Empire, they immediately started blaming Ethan, claiming he had set the whole thing up. Anna had said only one thing to them: "Whatever you were planning to do to my brother tonight, you will do to him instead. Do you understand?" Russo and the others agreed instantly, dragging the screaming Ethan to the room next door. The party downstairs was full of high society, but the rooms on the 3rd floor were soundproof. No one would hear his screams. When the DeVises heard their son had angered the Sterlings and several other powerful figures, they rushed upstairs, cursed him out, and then stood guard at the door themselves while he was assaulted all night. Ethan was tortured for the entire night. An ambulance took him away before dawn. The powerful men involved hushed it all up, and the hotel staff knew better than to say a word. I heard later that Ethan spent a month recovering. The day he was released was the day the new contracts for the movie were supposed to be signed. When he saw me walk in with Anna, his old arrogance returned. "Look at you, Noah. You're nothing but a pathetic pretty boy hiding behind your sister. Just wait. After I win an Oscar for this movie, I'll settle the score with you. You'll be sorry." I looked at him like he was an idiot. I couldn't wait to see the look on his face when he found out he was about to be fired by me, the screenwriter. The signing ceremony began. Anna reviewed the contract, then looked at Russo with a sly smile. "My screenwriter is here today, by the way." Russo jumped to his feet, his face alight with excitement. "Really? The genius is finally showing his face? Please introduce me." The last 2 blockbusters he directed were from scripts acquired from Anna's company. He had a feeling this new one would break box office records. His jaw dropped when Anna pulled me to my feet. Ethan was also stunned. Then he laughed. "Don't tell me you paid some hack to let this loser take the credit." I calmly stood up, took the microphone, and began to explain the creative philosophy behind the script. The room was silent. Russo was ecstatic, calling me a genius. "But he can't be in my movie," I said, pointing at Ethan. "No problem." Russo agreed almost instantly. "Whatever you say." Ethan's face went white with disbelief. "Mr. Russo, you promised me." "I promised your father. Now get out." Russo shoved him away and tried to suck up to me, but Anna blocked him. When the Devises heard that I had cost Ethan his shot at an Oscar, they exploded. They grabbed Ethan by the ear and started screaming at him. "We should have never picked you, you useless piece of trash. All you have is a pretty face, and you can't even use it to please the right people. Now look what you've done." Ethan cried out in pain. Anna frowned. "This is getting noisy. Remove the irrelevant people." Security guards immediately escorted Ethan and the Devises out. Russo tried to speak, but Anna held up a hand. "My brother doesn't like you as a director, so we won't be signing with you." Russo's face fell. "But why? Why did you give me the other 2 scripts?" he pleaded. Just then, the sound of police sirens grew louder outside. Anna answered for me. "Because my brother says you have to let the line out far to catch a big fish." Mr. Russo was arrested for sexual assault and aggravated battery. The breach of contract lawsuits bankrupted him. Ethan, as a victim, was also taken in for questioning. Anna handed over all the evidence, the video of Ethan drugging me, and even the footage of what Russo and the others did to Ethan. At first, Ethan denied everything, claiming the videos were deepfakes. But when the Devises arrived and threatened him to keep his mouth shut, he finally broke. I'll confess everything. I drugged him, and everything they did to me is real. My parents are the masterminds behind it all. They've been forcing me since I turned 18. Sobbing, Ethan laid out years of abuse at the hands of the Devises and other powerful figures in Hollywood. Though there was an attempt to suppress the story, Anna made sure an audio recording was leaked. When Ethan's fans heard that their idol was a puppet, a plaything for the rich and powerful, they were outraged. They demanded justice for him. But then Anna released a second recording, Ethan's own confession of how he had planned to drug and frame me. The fans who had pitted him now turned on him, calling him twisted and evil. His career was over. The Devises became social pariahs. Mr. Russo's history of abusing his power was exposed, and he was blacklisted from the industry. He went bankrupt overnight and jumped from a building. The other executives and wealthy patrons who had participated were also exposed. At first, they denied it, but then anonymous packages of evidence started arriving at police stations. Not a single one of them escaped justice.